Weather Service is putting it out there plain and simple. Heads up, coastal dwellers. They're not messing around with this one. This isn't just another weather update. It's a real call to action. They're trying to make sure everyone gets it, that all the pieces for potential flooding are starting to line up.
Okay, so let's get into the details. What does this flood alert actually mean? Let's break down the official stuff you really need to know right now.
All right, first things first, a coastal flood watch is officially in effect for the Humboldt Bay region and the Redwood Coast. And that word watch is key. It means we're shifting gears now, moving from just being aware of something to actively preparing for it. This isn't some far-off possibility anymore, it's an active alert. And here's the official word from the National Weather Service. And you really got to pay attention to the phrasing. A coastal flood watch means that flooding is possible, but not imminent. That's a super important distinction. It's like all the ingredients for a flood are on the counter, ready to go, even if the flood itself isn't literally at your doorstep right this second. So you can really just think of a watch as the official heads up. It's that signal that says, hey, now's the time. Time to check those emergency kits, make sure your family has a plan, and figure out exactly where you're going to get your official updates. This is the prep phase.
All right, so we get the what. Now let's talk about the when. This timeline is absolutely crucial because it tells you how much time you have to get ready.
And you can see here, this isn't just a one-and-done thing. It's spread out over a few days. The rain might start creeping in Wednesday night, then the official watch kicks off Thursday morning. But Friday looks like the main event. That's when things are expected to get really stormy. And then, hopefully, it all winds down by Saturday afternoon. So why is this happening right now? What's making this particular time so risky? Well, it's not just one thing. It's actually a combination of a couple of powerful forces lining up in, well, kind of a perfect storm. Yeah, this isn't just bad luck. There are two very specific factors that are coming together at the exact same time, creating this really high flood risk. So what are they? Okay, so here's the 1-2 punch. Factor one, we've got an incoming storm system, and that's going to bring stormy weather and, you guessed it, really large surf. That's a problem on its own for sure, but here's factor two. It's happening at the same time as some very high astronomical tides. You've probably heard them called king tides. These are totally natural, but when you get these exceptionally high tides and a big storm at the same time, that's when the trouble starts. And when you put those two things together, the storm and the king tides, you get the potential for, and this is the official language, moderate to localized major flooding. And believe me, when forecasters use words like major, they're not talking about a few puddles in the street. This is a potential threat we all have to take very seriously. Okay, so that's all the sciencey stuff. But what does this actually mean for you on the ground? What could this really look like? Let's talk about the potential impact. The official advisory is pointing to some very specific spots. We're talking low-lying shorelines, those areas around Humboldt Bay that you know are prone to flooding, and the tidal waterways all along the Redwood Coast. If you live or work in any of these places, you are smack dab in the middle of the primary risk zone. And if there's one number to remember from all of this, it's this one, 1.5 feet. Now, what does that actually mean? Well, that's up to 1.5 feet of saltwater inundation above ground level. So just take a second and picture that. 1.5 feet of seawater where it shouldn't be, covering roads, filling up parking lots, swamping areas that are supposed to be dry. We're talking about the kind of flooding that can cause real damage and make getting around pretty much impossible. So look, the bottom line here is pretty simple. The absolute best thing you can do right now is just stay informed. Keep your local news on, pay attention to the official advisories, and most importantly, please just stay safe. These situations can change in a heartbeat.
So knowing all this, knowing what's possible, we want to leave you with just one question to think about. What is the single most important step you can take right now to prepare? Really thinking that through, not just for this week, but for any time. Well, that can make all the difference. Thanks for tuning in.